Good evening, everybody. Welcome to CW Live, an impromptu live session, hot off the press, so to speak, from the negotiations with Royal Mail Group. Delighted to be here with Andy Fury, our Acting Deputy General Secretary. Good evening, Andy.
Hi, everybody.
And we've also, of course, got our General Secretary, Dave Ward. Evening, Dave.
Hi, everyone.
So today we're going to give you an update. Obviously, you can see in the title of the session, the strikes are to go ahead. Tomorrow morning is so vital you support them. You're going to hear from Andy and you're going to hear from Dave on just why that is. You're going to also hear about how the negotiations have gone with ACAS and where we are with that, and then just that really important message about why it is so vital you take action. You get yourself to London if you can. If you can't get to London, you get yourself to the picket line as we shore up and deliver the biggest picket lines and the biggest support for strike that we've delivered in this dispute so far. So really just a quick update. First of all, from Dave, I'm sure the members want to know what's been happening in the negotiations, why it is we're having to take strike action again, and why it's important that members do so. Dave.
Yeah, okay, everybody. So look, we've had a couple of days of talks at ACAS with Royal Mail. The CEO has been in attendance during those meetings. We had a shorter session today. We've obviously focused on trying to do everything possible to try and break the impasse to make sure that we can reach an agreement. We've set out our position very clearly, as you would expect us to, on all the key issues. And the company were in a position where they were saying to us effectively what would it take to call off the strike action, and how could we find a solution. We set out a number of areas that we wanted to look at a lot more closely, job security being one of them. We've again repeated the reality that what they're proposing on job losses is just not acceptable when they're also bringing in new entrants. They're also bringing in unlimited numbers of owner drivers, and they're retaining around about, we expect now, around about 15,000 agency staff, some of whom are there all year round, some of whom have been brought in over Christmas. The company did indicate during the talks at one point that they would extend the guarantees on no compulsory redundancies as part of the conversation we were having, and we were looking again at the change agenda and seeing how we could possibly find a way forward on some of that. But in the end, today, they never came through with that offer. So the strikes are going ahead. We've made it clear that we're available for further talks. The company is saying they're not walking away. We're not walking away. So, we've got to go for the strikes tomorrow. And I think tomorrow is a really pivotal day for us in this dispute. We've got the national rally. We're in a situation where we think it'll be a great day for us with the media. The media will be out there. We'll be able to explain our case again very strongly. But more importantly than that, we'll be able to get a lot of postal workers explaining the situation as well to the media. And there's nothing better than hearing from frontline workers about what it's like working in Royal Mail at the moment, and why the change agenda that Royal Mail putting forward is not acceptable. The pay, obviously, not at the point where we could agree it, because it's not what they're saying it is. They keep saying it's 9%. We keep saying, well, if it was 9% fully backdated, we'd have a look at that, providing that the change agenda was right as well. That's the situation. We've got 3 asks of you as members now. You've been brilliant all the way through this. You know what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a group of people who we don't believe have got the real interests of Royal Mail as a company at heart. The future, they want to change this company, destroy a public service that's operated for over 500 years. It's not on. The deal that they're putting in front of us for change is not in the interest of customers either. The customers that you provide the service to. So we got 3 asks here. Make sure tomorrow you support that strike, 1. 2, make sure the picket lines are covered in the areas where you are. And 3, please get as many of you as possible up to our national rally. What you're going to feel tomorrow, you'll feel the solidarity from other members around the UK. You'll feel how strong they're all feeling about the position that Royal Mail are causing it. You'll feel how strong they are about the toxic atmosphere that Royal Mail are causing in workplaces day in, day out, by the behaviour of the CEO, the company, in the actions that they're taking against our members. So look, that's the ask tomorrow. It's an important day for us. There's going to be lots of media coverage of the rally itself and on picket lines earlier on in the day. So please be there. Join with us tomorrow. We'll show them how solid we are tomorrow, and that will put massive pressure on Royal Mail. And then we'll be ready to go back and do everything possible to try and find a resolution to this dispute.
Thanks, Dave. Just before Andy comes in, I can see so many of you saying you're coming to London. So many of you saying that you're on the pickets. So let us know. So if you're coming to London tomorrow, put "I'll be in London" in the comments, and we'll get as many of those up on screen as we can. If you're on the picket line, say "I'll be on the picket line tomorrow," and I'll get as many of those up on screen. So I'll be in London, or I'll be on the picket line. Andy, obviously, it is a significant day tomorrow for the union. It is another step into sort of like, a pressure point for us, a pressure point for the employer, and critically, though, a pressure point for our members financially. What would your message be to the members who are perhaps sitting there and fully support the union, have supported every battle of strike action, will of course be supporting the strike action tomorrow, but are saying, are we getting anywhere here? What would your message be to that group of members?
Okay, so the first thing I'd say is that sometimes things go a bit quiet in terms of negotiations or reports of negotiations to members. So we were in talks at ACAS head office, Dave and I, on Tuesday and yesterday face to face with Simon Thompson and his lead team, and today we've met them online with ACAS. So 3 days of ACAS talks with Royal Mail. Now the protocols of those talks is that we have to agree to confidentiality. ACAS insist upon that. So we have a thing called radio silence, where at the end of each day both parties agree to say nothing, and so that ensures that the talks can continue without the public glare of the media and such like. So for any member who's wanting to know what's been going on, we have been in talks with Royal Mail, and Simon Thompson has been in those talks. Unfortunately, like many sets of negotiations, it feels like one step forward and then 2 steps back. You feel like there's a chink at the end, a light at the end of the tunnel at one point, and then on other occasions it feels like it can be frustrating. So how we've ended up today is with unfortunately not enough progress to be able to recommend anything to the members of our postal executive. Our objective has been to reach an agreement, and we'd like to be in a position where we weren't asking members to make further sacrifices next week and the week after in the lead up to Christmas. But as it stands, we do need to go again. Tomorrow, we believe, will be a pivotal moment. It's going to be vitally important for solidarity and unity purposes. It's going to be a magnificent day in terms of the numbers arriving in London from all different parts of the United Kingdom. The reports are phenomenal from people coming from Scotland and Northern Ireland and from deepest southwest England, all over the United Kingdom. So, it's going to be great to see, and we're even hearing that there's going to be a news reporter, TV crew that are going to be travelling up from Swansea with our members in a coach with them. So, we're going to hopefully get magnificent media and press coverage. We're confident of that. The interest seems to be phenomenal on that. So, look, tomorrow is important. It's important that we feel solidarity, togetherness and unity and a strength of purpose, because this is a dispute that we've got to win, and we will only win it through our members remaining steadfast and determined and resilient. So, we think tomorrow is important, but, we've got to go again beyond tomorrow. And there's further action on Sunday. And that's important for the weekend workers that haven't actually been involved too much in the dispute thus far. And we have further strikes planned for next Wednesday and Thursday. But we remain available for negotiations on Saturday, on Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday. So, and our message to Royal Mail and to ACAS is we will put in the time and effort face to face for meaningful negotiations and talks, because the objective is to reach an agreement. So we're available for those talks. We hope that Royal Mail will make themselves available and will come to the negotiating table to thrash out a reasonable and fair deal, which is what we want. But if we can't find a way forward in the short term, we will have to prepare for a further ballot for strike action in the new year, and plans are in place for that. and there'll be further announcements on that tomorrow. So look, this is a very, very serious dispute. It's not just a dispute for Christmas. I would really stress that, you know, we have to keep on going. And if that means we have to go again in the new year with a new ballot when the current ballots expire, then that's what we will have to do. The last point I will make is for those that are coming to Parliament Square tomorrow, please wrap up well, because the temperatures are going to be freezing and it's going to be bloody cold. So do make sure you've got all your CW regalia and your pink colours, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you, Andy. Brilliant, mate. Dave, I wanted to touch on, a few things, but one of them is the genuineness of the talk. So we've seen this a few times from Royal Mail, haven't we, where, you know, we've called them out in the media really effectively. You guys both have. And then, you know, they've clearly thought we can't sustain this position and not talking to them. So they came in, and there's a little bit of movement, one progress one day, then not still the other, bit of back and forth. I want to read something to you they've just put out to the media. So bear in mind, they finished meeting with you, less than 45 minutes ago. A press release has gone out from Royal Mail, which says, we spent 3 more days at ACAS this week to discuss what needs to happen for the strikes to be lifted. In the end, all we received was another request for more pay without the changes needed to fund the offer. The CW know full well that a business is losing more than £1 million a day. While the CW refuses to accept the need for change, it's our customers and our people who suffer. Strike action has already cost our people £1,200 each. The money allocated to the pay deal risks being eaten away by the cost of further strike action. The CW is striking at our business time, deliberately holding Christmas to ransom for our customers, business and families across the country. We are doing everything we can to deliver for our Christmas. During the last strike, we delivered more than 700,000 parcels and more than 11,000 delivery and processing staff returned to work. We recovered our service quickly, but the task becomes more challenging as Christmas nears. We remain fully willing to talk any time about our best and final offer, that's back, and urge the CW to call off their damaging strike action. A few things there, Dave, I want to pick out. One, the lack of genuineness. You're in the room with them 45 minutes ago. That statement isn't written in 45 minutes. So once again, you know, that's an example to the members. The lack of genuineness I'll ask you to comment on. The 11,000 people going to work thing is laughable. We got 14,000 people for one other reason or not, and not members of the union in Royal Mail Group. So they can't even get all the non-members to go into work, let alone chipping away at 115,000 brilliant CW members. And then, you know, people at this point, I've raised with you both a few times in the dispute, of we have recovered our service quickly. People are not stupid. Our members are not stupid. They are seeing their delivery frames rammed. They are seeing mail in car parks, in mail centres. They're seeing it stowed away in secret locations, you know. And once again, we're back at that point where, you know, I use a more modern phrase of gaslighting or lying or trying to basically convince our members that what they see in front of their own eyes isn't true. This isn't great, is it?
No, and this is the problem, is trust, genuineness to try and reach an agreement. You know, what we want our members to know is that we never go in there just making demands without recognising the position that the company is in, and without also trying to find a jointly agreed way forward on change. So, you know, we believe that it isn't impossible for them whatsoever to give us the job security agreement that we're looking for. Now, if we want proper job security, and I am going to say this to you, that they did put on the table in a way that was, well, we'll have to have a look at this, but, you know, we could extend the no compulsory guarantees. They said that in front of ACAS, so we're not hiding anything there. And then it's like, you know, we'll have a look at that, possibly extend it to a year, and then we'll see where we go from there. And then the following day, you're expecting that to come through on that basis. But of course, you know, that also means that if you're going to do proper job security, you can't at the same time bring other people in, unlimited numbers of owner drivers who they want to use in Royal Mail, clearly, to take that work from our existing members. Agency staff to the numbers that are there. These are not unreasonable requests. And on the media tomorrow, you know, we will make that very clear. We can still save Christmas here. We can still do stuff that reaches an agreement. We know that the change they're proposing is going to forever deny opportunities for this business to grow in the future. You know that. You've seen that with the later start times where the company abandoning the AM delivery period. So you have a chat about, well, is there a way of introducing the change without abandoning the AM delivery period? And you sit there and they go, well, we're not really abandoning the AM delivery period. We'll do this, we'll do that. Let's have a think about this. And then, it doesn't come through in the way that the conversation took place. What's going on there is the reality that the board are sitting behind it as well. So they're going back every day to see what the position is with the board. They have meetings, as we understand it, literally every day after we talk. So yeah, look, but I mean, we want our members to know that we can get an agreement here. We can get an agreement that's fair for you as members, that's fair for the customers, and that's fair for the future of the company. And that will always be our overriding objective. What we've got to do now is stay with these strikes. Tomorrow is a huge day for us. The more that we can expose the position of the company in the media, the more that the pressure goes on them. We're starting to see small businesses now who are coming on board and understanding that what we're asking for is not unreasonable, and actually we're defending their services as well. So, there's times where you do think you've made progress. We wouldn't be in there if we didn't think that was possible at all. And then there's other times when you feel that some of the stuff that's going on feels like it's a union busting, worker busting agenda, trying to demoralise our members. And of course, we're in that position where what they're doing in the workplaces at the moment is creating this, really unhelpful environment at work. Think about this from the point of view as well. Technology, one of the issues here, they want to use that technology to bear down on you every minute of the day. This is unreasonable stuff. We've got an agreement on the use of that. We should bring that agreement back, reinstate it, get back to the principles that we've always talked about. We've said to the company that we can find a solution on one parcel network. We want one parcel network with all workers treated the same within that. And there's times when you think that you've maybe moved that issue forward, and then it comes back in the way that it's come back today. But look, our job is to stick with this now. In regards to members, what they're saying about the numbers that are going in, we don't believe or recognise those numbers. We get reports from all our members. Are there people that have gone in? Well, there's bound to be. There's never a strike where that doesn't happen. You all know that. But this is a solid strike. We can see that from our members on the picket line. We can see that our members have worked out all of the issues here. And as we always say, the people who have got your interests at heart are sitting in front of you now, are back in your offices as your representatives, are on our executive, are in our field officials across the union. We want a good agreement for you. We want a good agreement for the company that can be successful in the future. We know it can. We do not believe that what they're putting in front of us at the moment, which is effectively destroying 500 years of a public service, they're going to walk away from daily deliveries. That's the plan. We've got to stop that plan. Else otherwise, the level of job losses that are going to go here is going to be incredible. And, we're committed to that. We've got to stick with this. We've said all along, we'll do whatever it takes. And we really do mean that. And we hope that you understand that. We're going out and we're seeing that level of support. I walk around the streets now and people, postal workers come up and they go like, we're with you on this. Yes, it is tough, but it's about making decisions for the long-term future here and what's in the interest of all our workers. As we've always said, people who want to choose to go on voluntary redundancy terms at the moment, we have no issue with those people whatsoever. It's about the people who are staying. It's about the workload that you're going to be facing. It's about the future of the business, the future of your job. And what we're asking for here is not unreasonable in anyone's language. So let's stick with it tomorrow. One final thing from me, Chris might ask me another question in there. One thing I do want to get across, let's make sure tomorrow, picket lines, as always, as we're always saying, let's be respectful, but you are entitled to ask people and, approach people. You do it in a respectful way, and also make sure that when we're at the rally tomorrow, this is real unity of postal workers who were key workers only 18 months ago. The company, Simon Thompson, the board, all saying what a fantastic group of workers. What they've done in that period of time to create their own crisis on their finances is completely unacceptable, and they must be held to account on that. If this company is in a position where it's saying it can't afford this, it can't afford that, One thing we have got to get across is that is down to the leaders of this business. And we're sitting in front of you today saying, who has any confidence that the people who led us into this crisis that they've created are going to lead us out to it? It needs a proper agreement with the union, with the members on board, and I know you'll stick with us. It's that serious. You'll be there. You've been there all the way. We've come a long way. We've got to go further. Tomorrow's going to be a great day for the union.
Thank you, Dave. Just one more thing for each of you in your closing comments. Andy, I'd like you to close off, and I don't want you to address the members on the importance of being on the picket lines tomorrow from you.
If I may, I just really want to also respond to that press statement by Royal Mail, because to claim that there's 3 days of ACAS talks is not quite accurate. We've met for an hour this afternoon, so that's not a day, that's an hour, and they've trundled out this position, which was obviously written before the meeting took place, that we're demanding more pay and no changes to fund the offer, or refusing the need for change, refusing to accept the need for change. I mean, that's a total, absolute misrepresentation of what has gone on in the last couple of days. The company asked us on Tuesday, what would it take to call off the strikes? Yesterday, we provided them with a list of issues that we thought were worthy of their consideration, and if they were able to embrace them, would have enabled us to have gone before our executive and said, look, we've made sufficient progress here to be able to call off the strikes. Today was badged as a meeting where they were going to respond to our points. They responded and rejected them, and claimed that we were refusing to embrace change. Simply not true. We said if we were able to move forward on a number of key areas, including the guarantee for no compulsory redundancy being extended into 2024, we said that we would be willing to support proper revisions, properly negotiated, where all the data and the information was provided to our representatives, based upon workload and based upon the ability to use the industrial relations framework to escalate where agreement couldn't be reached. So we actually was prepared to work at pace to deliver those revisions. So for them to say that the union, i.e. Dave and I in those talks, were refusing to accept the need for change is completely and utterly disingenuous, not right. So either the person who's wrote that press release is clueless and doesn't know what's going on, or the person who has authorised that press release is living in a parallel universe to what's gone on in those talks. Now, in terms of tomorrow, I think the question was, how important is to be on the picket line? So, look, we appreciate that many of our members would love to be in London tomorrow for the rally, but can't do so for very good reasons. So we would urge those of you that can't come to London to get on those picket lines. It is really important that we have a big presence on the picket lines, as well as a great turnout in London. And as Dave has said, look, we need to keep those picket lines as humorous and good-willed, as possible. The nature of our members and representatives on those picket lines, having a good respect towards people, is vitally important. And I'd urge people not to be pulled onto a punch and give in to any provocation from managers, because it's managers and agency workers and casuals that are provoking situations that trying to get our members and representatives to react, and we can't, we don't want that to happen. So, also a shout out. Actually, we've got nearly 80 members and reps suspended from duty for so-called picket line infringements. It's completely trumped up, completely fabricated charges. Shout out to these members. We will support you every step of the way and ensure that there's justice, and that we will get you to return to duty. We're not having our people victimised in this way, and we're not having witch hunts by management against our people. So, picket lines tomorrow are vitally important. Let's keep our good humour. Let's keep our respect, and let's ensure that we get the message across that we are picketing legally and peacefully, and we are fully entitled to approach people and say to them, please do not cross that picket line, support this union, support this dispute, support this great industry, because what we're seeking to do is to protect this great service for the public for years and years to come, well after we've retired and moved on, for the younger people to come through. It's a great service, great public service. We want to ensure that the customers can continue to get that great service and our members can continue to have good job security. Thanks very much for all your support. It really is appreciated.
Thank you, Andy. Brilliant, buddy. Lots of people asking about the shareholder meeting. We put some messaging out early in the week. That's been moved to next week due to shareholder availability. We're going to have a big meeting. We'll obviously grandstand that, let you know exactly when it is, let you know exactly how you can input, and obviously we'll share it, footage of it and output of it as soon as we possibly can. Dave, final message and rallying call. There may be people, I suppose, particularly on the outskirts of London, who are in and arming about coming into London tomorrow. Would you, what would you say to people who I mean, I just saw someone saying they're leaving Aberdeen at 2 a.m, another person leaving Penzance at midnight. I mean, stunning, like people getting on a plane from Belfast, people getting boats. It's like an insane sort of, almost feels a little bit like that movie Brassed Off, where people are being bussed into London to sort of take over Parliament. It's going to be an exceptional day. So if someone's a little bit uncertain, should they get into London? And your final message?
Yeah, this is absolutely the right thing to do, to get in and join other colleagues tomorrow, other friends and colleagues, other postal workers around the UK. You're a great bunch of people. The public know that. The more of you that we can get there tomorrow, showing the support for this dispute, showing the support for the union, what we're trying to achieve in terms of proper job security, change that's fair to you, fair to the employer, but also is going to produce good customer service. This is a time to fight for that. It's a time to show that feeling. And believe me on this, when you get there amongst the other workers, you will see the strength of feeling that we have within this union. You will see the strength amongst your fellow workers who are still up for this, are still absolutely fighting for their jobs, for their decent pay. It's the only thing you can do. I know it's difficult for some people, but don't worry about the weather tomorrow. Get out there tomorrow. Be with us at Parliament Square. Let's put on the best show that we've ever been able to do in terms of our members turning up and showing what they believe in the service, they believe in their jobs, and they're going to fight to keep those two things.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Andy. We'll see you all in London tomorrow. We'll see you on the picket lines. Thanks for your support. Take it easy, everyone.